The thunder roars and the earth sings. The season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. For the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. In the rain, it's for my seed to grow. For every prayer and every seed I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping back 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see it now, I understand, I know. So I embrace it, dance. Once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green. Can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, thought you were done with me, but we're just beginning. Whoa, my life is a journey. I will walk with you, I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go. Come on.
Lagos. Welcome. Buenos dias, ¿cómo estás bien? Good morning, I'm speaking in French and I'm saying, not French, Spanish. I'm saying very good morning to you, and how are you, Lagos? I am saying... All right. Okay, now, what a perfect time to be alive on a very beautiful day, a very beautiful Thursday morning. It's a throwback Thursday morning. Oh, yeah, the land is green indeed. We are so blessed as a people. We are so blessed as a nation. We are so, so very blessed. We are blessed. And yes, this is a segment we are all been waiting for. This is the segment. This is the segment we are all been waiting for. We've been all been waiting for. Yes, there's a segment. And I have been waiting for this segment all along. If you just look at your time, 24 minutes just tiptoed past the hour of 10 o'clock, and we're talking Greenland. Beautiful country. Yes, very beautiful country. God has blessed us with so many abundant resources. Too much. Gold, copper, iron, rubber, oil and gas. Name it. I can go on and on and on with all of the things, beautiful resources God has given to us as a people and a nation. Yes, God has given us all of that. And we are on the segment, the conversation segment. Remember, every conversation on the Morning Impact Show is thus worthy of note. Oh, yes, I have a guest not in the house, joining me via virtual conversation all the way from Ilori. But I will let the cat fully out of the bag when I come back. Remember, I shall be streaming this conversation, and the title of the conversation is Culture and Tradition. Our culture, our tradition, how have we fared as a people, as a nation? With so much that God has blessed us so far, how have we fared? It's a beautiful, it's going to be a beautiful conversation. So you can send in your questions. Send in your questions while the conversation takes center stage. Send in your questions on 0907-224-5018. 0907-224-5018. I'll take that again for the last time. 0907-224-5018. Conversations on the Morning Impact Show is always worthy of note. We will get to the conversation when I come back, and I will introduce my guest. There, the red carpet. It's already. Let's get to it. And when I come back, just stay tuned. Don't touch it up. Jeremiah Gang is ready for us.
Instructions like a comment about you.
I've been thinking them fit to bail me, but things be as them be, as them be, so them fail. But he phone me, I've been at.com because email me. I get the message, lack of knowledge, they jail me. But freedom come with the realization. Say, Oga Jesus, don't confirm our mission. God the Son, God's word, from the beginning enduring till the end. As I dey yarn, as I dey go, my abilities I realize na vanity. Jesus na you, if not be you, man for the think of how he go spend eternity.
Manna hanyar ka Allah ba wurin da zambi. Manna kai ya Yesu ai manna rai sam sam. Manna kai ai na kwafsa. Manna kai gaskiya. Manna kai ya Yesu ai manna rai sam sam. Manna kai gaskiya zan sha wahala. Manna kai ya Yesu ai manna rai sam sam.
Try on my own, find out say it not easy. Try after try, just say network busy. How for do nothing for this connection. It take time for me to accept this correction. But time they teach people bitter lessons. Now for we to learn at the end of the session. Without you, my Jesus, where are for thee? Now because of you, I feel face another day. Now people they ask me, say, now waiting they make me smile. I just they tell them, say, now Jesus they make me smile.
Say kutapa, utaka, say kutapa, utaka, say kutapa, kemutapa, say kutaka, semutapa. Dan Yesu muna da rai anan da kanmu, saboda haka za mu yi masa yabo da zuciya ɗaya. Ta, ko ku ji nan, yabo, 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 yabo. Manna hanyar ka Allah ba wurin da zan bi. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai.
High Impact 102.1 FM.
Sai ta kulle ni. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam. Manna kai ai na kwafsa. Manna kai gaskiya. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam. Manna kai gaskiya zan sha wahala. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Yawa. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam. Manna kai ya Yesu, ai manna rai. Sam sam.
All right, welcome to your number one radio station, impact 102.1 FM. Today being the 20th of July 2023. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. And the year is just running like running. I don't know where the year is going to. The month of July is taking a flight ship. And this is the conversation segment. Remember, every conversation on the Morning Impact Show is thus worthy of note. And this is your number one radio station, impact 102.1 FM. I am Afyong Eyeni, your radio goddess. Well, you can call me Afi the Great. And today's topics are going to be a very beautiful conversation. Culture and tradition. Culture and tradition. All right, okay. Due to advent of colonialism, imperialism, modernization, and technology, African cultures and traditions have been demystified, somehow weakened, and some cultures conquered or destroyed. You know, the 21st century African child is barely abreast of his or her culture and tradition. We will be looking at all of that conversation today on the topic culture and tradition. But let me introduce my guest. I have a wonderful guest joining me virtually via a phone call all the way from Ilorin. He is here with us. He is a distinguished professor. Yes, he's a distinguished professor of history in the person of Professor Jawandu Ibrahim Abdulganiyu, FSPSP. He is the former head of Department of History and International Studies from the University of Ilorin. He is a former director, Center for Ilorin Studies, University of Ilorin. He doubles as a secretary, Ilorin Emirate Grand Doba. He is the first indigenous professor of history and international studies with specific reference to Ilorin Emirate studies. He has backed both local and international publications. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, iMpact senior citizens, iMpact ambassadors, iMpact listeners, I make welcome Professor Jawandu Ibrahim Abdulganiyu, FSPSP. Welcome, Prof, to iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. Good morning, Prof. Good morning.
Good morning, Afian.
Okay,
And,
yes.
like I just said, I prefer to call you Happy the Great. One, because of the good work you are doing over there. I have been taught by my lecturer that without research, nobody has any right to speak. But indeed, what you are doing there is research journalism. And I want to bet you that if you continue this way, you have places to go.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
also want to add that what you are doing today and what you have been doing, I think is a lasting legacy, which people will learn a lot of lessons from, and Nigeria in particular.
Thank you
I
so
also
much.
want to add that this topic that you have brought for discussion today cannot have come at any other auspicious time than today because of the significance of culture and the way the countries all over the globe are looking towards culture to drive their development. And you can see that with all these reasons have advanced, I think the high impact listeners will for long remember you for what you are doing for them.
All right. Thank you so much.
I bring you good tidings from the University of Ilorin and from Ilorin Emirate community. I also want to thank you for tracing me out from my own corner here. And I say good morning to all listeners. Happy meeting you. Afiank the Great.
Okay, thank you for coming on the show. Yes, the conversation Lagos, Nigeria is about to get started. It is about to get started. And remember, every conversation on the Morning Impact Show is thirst worthy of note. I'm very high spirit because this conversation will get to everyone listening to the sound of our voices today. And we're streaming live on YouTube at iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. I would like to take that again. iMpact 102.1 FM on YouTube. We are streaming, and also on Twitter at iMpact 1021 FM. Once again, I make welcome Professor Jawandu Ibrahim Abdulganiyu, FSPSP. Welcome to iMpact Radio. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm happy meeting you.
All right, let's talk about this topic, culture and tradition. Like I said earlier in my introduction, due to advent of colonialism, imperialism, modernization, technology, African cultures and traditions have been demystified, weakened, and some cultures conquered or destroyed. The 21st century African child, we know it's barely abreast of his or her culture and tradition. And our festival has been termed barbaric in some ways, in some quarters in the Western world, with only a few appreciating it, and the African child losing grip of our culture or our cultures and tradition of recent years. Folklores, foreplays have not been well attended to by younger generations. There is need for social consciousness and cultural consciousness and education to be awakened, more especially amongst contemporary Nigerian child. We will be analyzing all these issues as it relates to Nigerian culture and tradition. And again, I remain your host on the conversation, Afyong Eyeni. Yes, you can call me Afi the Great. Once again, we are streaming live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM and also on Twitter at iImpact 102.1 FM. You can send questions while the conversation is on 0907-224-5018, 0907-224-5018. All right, let's get straight into the conversation, shall we? Professor Jawandu, you are an authority in this field. What is culture? What is tradition?
Thank you very much. So many authorities have tried as much as possible to define what culture is. But each of the authorities, their definitions are colored by their biases. That is, their social, economic, political, and cultural background. I just want to say, for the sake of the listeners, that culture is essentially a totality of people in a certain environment. And it is indeed a product of the people of that particular place and their interaction with their physical and social environment. All of these products must bring them into peaceful atmosphere, peaceful coexistence among themselves and with their neighbors. Anything outside that is not culture. But all of these are what we refer to as culture. So, and we have quite a number of items that are akin to what we refer to as culture. The language you speak, the way you dress, what you eat, your arts, your music, your dances, etc. Means of your livelihood, your belief system. All of these are encompassed in what we refer to as culture. So when it is simply referred to say that culture is the totality of man in his social and physical environment.
Okay, for the benefit of our listeners, can you say
Yes.
this to our interwoven culture and tradition? What's the difference?
Oh, yeah. To a common man on the street,
Okay,
it has no difference.
there is no difference.
But to the academic minds, there are quite a number of differences. One, when we talk about culture, you are talking about a society that is located in a particular place where you can point to. People who are known that are located, they might be spread all over, but they must have a place of origin. And to explain this, let me just quickly bring this into this. We have state and we have nation. And that is why some scholars will say nation states. Nation are the people. You cannot have state without people. So nation. So you cannot have culture without people that are attached to that culture, because that culture is a production of the people, like I said, in their interaction with their environment and their neighbors. So, but in the case of tradition, tradition is nothing but individualism. It is a kind of thought that has been done over time. It could also be described as a kind of practice that has taken over the society for a longer period. But I also want to say that if culture is like a motor car, why the headlight? We still say the headlight of a motor car, because the headlight of a motor car is different from that of a bicycle. So tradition is just like a component, part of the spare parts of culture. And let me now give you a critical example so that you now understand the difference between culture and tradition.
Please do. Okay.
I was opportune to travel to China. And because Nigeria has sponsored me, there were about 20 sponsored their to learn about economic development and environmental security. So I intended that, okay, I want to be a good patriot. So I decided to put a cap, green, that has Nigerian flag, white, green, white, you understand that? So I decided to put the cap. So when we went on outing, I just saw that these Chinese were just looking at me, they are coming, they are greeting me, and I couldn't understand why they are doing that. So at a point in time, one of them just decided to come close to me, and he said, "Sir, why did you put this green cap?" I said, "I put the green cap because I'm from Nigeria, and our flag is green, white, green." He said, "Oh, putting that is our own tradition in Nigeria here to show that we are committed to our nation." Oh, I hope you are understanding.
Yes.
But on the other hand, do you know what it means? They said I was announcing to the world that my wife is cheating on me.
Oh my goodness, that is.
Can you see? That is just their own tradition.
Their own tradition.
But tradition, if you break a culture, there's tendency that there will be crisis.
Okay.
But if you break a tradition, you are only going to be told and be warned. So they could not remove my cap because it's just a tradition. I have not broken any cultural something there. No.
Okay.
Did you get it now?
Okay.
So that is to let you know that culture is more encompassing. White tradition is just like a means to an end. You got it? It's a means to an end. It is not an end in itself. So that is just the difference between tradition and culture. Take for instance now, if you are talking about marriage, we know that marriage is a culture in humanity. You get it? And the way you are going to do it differs. Even if you are from the same parent, you may want to adopt the tradition of engagement. Why the other person want to advertise his own. So those ones are means to achieving cultural goal. They are means to achieving cultural goals. So traditions are different, but the culture is the main thing that we are talking about. So, but anytime when somebody brought in an idea of achieving a goal, that person is introducing a tradition. Take for instance now in a society, a coastal region for that matter. Now crossing water to the other side, it became part of their culture because they have to meet other neighbors. And some people continue to cross with their legs. Some people continue to carry people on their back to cross.
Okay.
So somebody brought an idea that, okay, why don't you let us look for wood from the forest and lay a kind of across so that people can move.
Yes, move.
Yes. Then that now become a tradition for anybody who is living in the riverine area to construct a bridge across. So it's not a culture, but a kind of tradition. So tradition is different from culture, but tradition has a place in culture. So in essence, one is broader than the other one. While the culture is all encompassing, tradition differs significantly from the same family, from among the same settlement.
So you just have to say, you say culture is broader than tradition. Is that what you say?
Of course. Culture is broader. So it's broader than the tradition. Like I said, it's a means to an end. So when you talk about tradition, sometimes another word that synonymous to tradition is the custom. Is the custom. It is custom to doing that.
All right, let's quickly, because of our time, let's take a look at another question on my mind. And
yes, but let me say this.
Go ahead.
Let me have this.
Go ahead,
yes.
please.
Culture is also synonymous to civilization. When you're talking about culture, you're talking about civilization of a certain people in a certain environment. You can see that culture is much more broader.
Okay.
Because culture is synonymous to civilization, while tradition is just means to an end to achieving a civilization, a culture. Thank you very much.
Good. Taking a cue for civilization, I'm just trying to take a cue from that. Due to the advent of colonialism, Western education, imperialism, policy of assimilation, and world religion like Christianity, Islam was introduced to us into Anglophone and Francophone countries, respectively.
Yes.
Have all this
Yes.
negatively or positively affected us in a way? Just a
Well,
brief
we
history.
have,
Can you give us a brief history?
Yes, we have three groups of scholars. The first maintains that Africa is best for it, even as at the time when it was colonized. That the culture was superb, and if it had been allowed to grow, in fact, many people will learn from us. Some people said that African culture, though, was not that barbaric, but it was of less a civilization. That the Europeans who came to conquer us had a better civilization than that of Africa. Now, the third group of scholars, to which I belong, said that yes, if we have been allowed to develop, there's every tendency that those that are barbaric from among African culture, time will have shapen it, and that what the Europeans have also brought, it is not in totality bad, but we can then merge it together to advance our cause. And for us, we call it globalization. From globe, we are taking GLO. And from local, we are taking the CLA. So that we say globalization. That is the group I belong, globalization scholars. So what do you want us to, let me tell you that imperialism in itself is a total takeover of what you represent. So to blame anybody that have come here to say that they have disrupted our culture and this is, we are saying the opposite, because what they have come to do, what their objective was to take over our community. And if you want to take over anybody's community, the first thing you need to do is to destroy their culture. Because if you don't destroy that, the culture will take you over. Look at places that have been conquered, where their cultures were not destroyed. You will see that the culture of that place took over the people that came to conquer them, because one, they cannot come in their large number. They always come in few numbers.
Okay.
And the conquered were always in large number, and they're in their environment, and they behave the same way. So they only have economic and political control over them, whereas the conquered will have cultural imperialism over them. So what they decided to do was to first create that culture that will have impact on them and introduce their own culture so that they can have a total control. If you look at colonialism was the last stage of imperialism. The first thing that was done to target colonialism was exploration. The Europeans first explored Africa. They sent in geographers, they sent in merchants, they sent in industrialists. Go and check how is the place. And when they reported back to them that, okay, these resources are in abundance there, you can use it. Okay, no problem. The next group of people that they sent to us were those to work on our minds, to tell us that there are a group of people that had civilized, they are better civilized than you, and that they can bring you good tidings from Europe. And so they sent in Christian missions. Different Christian missions came to talk to us that we should believe in God. When we believe in God, we believe in the highest authority. And who are those authorities? Europe. So when we accepted them, we gave them places here and there. The next thing is that they were sending in visitors. They were sending in visitors who are bringing in gifts to our elders, our rulers, our chiefs.
All right. Okay.
All those ones is focusing our mind.
All
And
right.
eventually colonialism came and they took over.
All right.
So culture, what
Professor.
they have introduced to us.
Okay.
Yes.
Just finish your thought. Because of our time, I want us to go to the next question, but just finish your thought quickly.
Okay. So with all this that I have done, they have targeted our culture, and of course, it has both positive and negative impact on
So
us.
that brings me to my
Nigeria
question.
today.
Okay.
uh-huh,
That brings me.
that
Sorry.
today.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me button. Sorry to button there. That brings
Okay.
me to this question: as the civilization, technology, modernity weaken our cultural heritage, or as it uphold our cultural heritage?
Yes, you see, there are some. No, they cannot give you anything for free. Whatever you are given is to develop. It has an underneath
Undertone. Okay.
objective. Yes, and that is nobody, no power in this world, not even African country to African country, will give you something that will not benefit them. It may benefit you one way, but the end result, it is going to be imbalanced. Let me tell you that whatever the technology that is being transferred to us, yes, it is not to develop us, but rather to develop the intergroup relations between us, so that they will have some things from us, and we also have. So what I'm saying in essence is that the interest is always very paramount, and no country will have the interest of another country in mind that country should come to supersede their own authority.
Okay.
So whatever we are doing we are doing because we feel that we should relate with other countries of the world, because no country can live in isolation.
Okay, Lagos, we're still having a conversation on the Morning Impact Show, and the conversation is culture and tradition. How far have we fared as a people, as a nation, and also our very, very rich culture? We know we have rich culture which we can really exploit for good of us as a nation. Remember, we are streaming live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM and also on Twitter at iImpact 102.1 FM. You have to note, and you should know, that every conversation on the Morning Impact Show is thus worthy of note. That brings me to my other question, sir, Professor.
Yes.
Talking about education, we cannot downplay the effects of education also, and also literacy. So in pre-colonial times in Africa, our forefathers and forebearers were relatively illiterate, if not stark illiterate. And that made them, make some kind of laws, some kind of rules, even their belief system, and sometimes fetish practices. Due to colonialism, that brought about education, exposure, and mental development. Some African cultures were abolished. For example, the killing of twins. In present-day Cross River, present-day Cross River State, we still have the state presently, in the part of eastern Nigeria, now South Nigeria, where widows are mandated to drink their late husband dead body water they use in bathing him or whatever. Do you say this colonialism has really educated us so far in really stopping some kind of obnoxious laws?
You see, everything is for time. Let me tell you, when you are talking about education, reading and writing, it is not the education we're talking about. Have they planted any brain in any one of those in Africa? Is it not our brain that they are using? They are training us to do this, to do that. Have they sold any brain to anybody? But what we are talking about is this: just what we call the moral training, and what we call the Western style of education that we've gotten from them. Nobody can deny that we got the Western type of education from them. But nobody can deny us that Africans, Nigerians, we have our own system of education. And the system of education that we run, the objective differs significantly. The goal of African education, Nigerian education, is that to produce a usable human being that will be useful to himself and the society, giving respect to customs and traditions of a land. Whereas that of Western education is nothing but for capitalism, yourself, yourself. You can see where we got it wrong up to where we are now. But if we have been allowed to do that communal interest, my community first, it will have been better. Yes, whatever you might have accused Africa of in terms of some things that have come to us now to like a barbaric. Let me tell you that while the Arabs were better advanced, the Europeans were in their slums. All of those things that they were accusing us of, they have done it before now. They have done early marriage, they have done women's circumcision, they have done cannibalism. There's nothing they have not done before now. But with time, things changed. If we have not been bombarded, if we have not been colonized, I'm sure that things will have taken shape by itself. At least if you are talking about what do you call it, women being used for as an object of amusement, where does it belong today? That it came from there, and it's going back there today. You can see the way women dresses everywhere now. That is, and you can see even defeat them now supporting gay. You can see that this type of moral bankruptcy started with them, but it's now going back to them again because they introduced all of this into us. So they are not also free from it. But I just believe that in the human society, time often tells on whatever we do. So we cannot deny that we have not gained anything from them because they knew it first and they introduced this to us first. Yes, of course. But a lot of things they have destroyed to please themselves. They destroyed our industries.
Yes.
They destroyed our morals. They destroy everything that is ours. They destroy our culture. They are introducing their dances instead of our own. So all of this. But they knew all of this, that they were better. Our system of education was far, far better than their own, but they forced their own on us.
Okay.
And we took it today.
Let's take a critical look at Europeanized Africans, those Africans that have totally imbibed the will and the culture of the Europeans. Where do we begin to inculcate the positive cultures and traditions to them? Our positive cultures, we have cultures that are so very much good, the way we greet, the way we dress. How do we imbibe all of this to those Europeanized Africans that have, totally imbibed the will of the Europeans?
Yes, what they did is what we are going to do as well. As far as those that are already aged, there's little we can do about them.
Okay.
But our system of education we will have to restructure. If anything we have to restructure our system of education. Let every state in Nigeria introduce into the curriculum what the society wants. How the society wants the children to behave. Teach them in school and let them appreciate it. Practice it before them. If we catch our children young, I think it's going to be better. And that's what they did for us as well.
Okay.
When they came, that's what they did. What they wanted, they introduced into the system of education so that our children can just learn it. And they learn it and they came outside. Look at what is happening in America today. America opened up a system of education, inviting different countries to come and learn. When they get back to their country, they go and cause trouble because of what they have just learned in the school. So the system of education should be restructured in a way that will reflect what the society wants and what Nigeria wants as a whole. So our philosophy of education is very important. That's where we have to go.
I got a lot of some friends who really would like to learn our culture. And based on my research, a large number of them are, enthusiastic about knowing their cultures and tradition and attending festivals. But one deterrent factor they say or relate is that the government over the years have not served the citizens well. The economy, insecurity, inflation, poor infrastructure, no compliance to law and others made many of them not to return back to Nigeria or home, even if they wish to, and reduce their initial interest in learning about their government and also traditions and cultures. Can you profess solutions what government can really do to ignite the interest of Nigerians back home? Especially those in diaspora. Yes, especially those in diaspora who really want to come back to really learn the culture. They love the culture. They want to learn their own culture. But what can they do at this point when we have so many issues facing us? Professor solutions for us.
Let me tell you that many of Nigerians who are in diaspora are left to nothing but our culture. because that the practice of our culture over there, that is what is giving them security. That is what is giving them security, because they refer to them, they see themselves as Nigerians.
Okay.
They see themselves as Africans, and they try to practice what we are doing in Africa here so that they can be unique over there. And based on that, they are being recognized. Go to Brazil and see what they are practicing there. Go to UK, look at Nigerians there. Look at when any president of Nigeria went to America or anywhere in Europe, they will be the one to go and see them and showcase our culture there. So they want our culture, but what is important is that the government should be serious about it here at home and try to drive development through our culture. You know, we have some cultural agencies that belong to the government. We have the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. We also have a National Orientation Agency. So we have a National Tourism Development Authority, and we have National Theatre there. They should empower them the more. They should empower them the more to showcase Nigerian culture to the people here. Catch the children young at schools. Let them practice all of this culture. Let them see it. Let them feel it. Let them practice it. If that is done, and let development drive out from different cultures. If the government can enforce that, you want to believe that in 1976, when the first act was put in place, you can see that was a strong factor that served as a rallying point for all Nigerians and their cultures, and the world at large came to watch us here. So you can see that it is only good government can put more effort, help all the societies to develop their cultures, and let their culture be an item in their development. Take for instance now, you see, when government is, take for instance a section of the society, footballing for instance.
Yeah.
I learned that they are using synthetic grass. Here.
Synthetic grass.
Can you use synthetic grass where grass is growing here? Grass is going and is stopping us, and you are again importing synthetic grass. What for? That is part of what I'm saying, that if they have allowed our culture to drive the development, I think we have enough grass, and we can even continue to export grasses to those who don't have it. It is not the best interest of Africa, Nigeria, and our society to now be importing something that we have alternative here.
All right.
So the government should be serious and be sure that they are ready to drive Nigerian development through our culture. And we are getting.
Thank you. Lagos, we are still having a conversation. We're talking culture and tradition, and we are talking with Professor Jawandu Ibrahim Abdul Ganiyu. Lagos, Nigeria. We're still streaming live, but hey, we have to go on a short break. When we come back, the conversation continues. Don't touch the dial.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Are you looking for an avenue to blast your brand? Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931, or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com. You asked for great radio. We brought you the king. We brought you the king. High Impact 102.1 FM. The king of radio.
Yes, welcome back, Lagos, Nigeria. We are still having a conversation on the Morning Impact Show. The conversation with our guest is culture and tradition. And yes, I still have Professor Ibrahim with me. We're having this conversation. And yes, we are streaming live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM and also on Twitter at iImpact 1021 FM. And as you know, Professor Ibrahim is a distinguished professor of history in the person of, his full name is Professor Jawondo Ibrahim Abdulganiyu, FSPSP. He is the former head of Department of History and International Studies from the University of Ilorin. And he also doubles as a secretary, Ilorin Emirate Grand Doba. We are moving gradually to the second segment of this conversation, culture and tradition. Professor, thanks for holding on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we are heading towards the second segment of the conversation. Again, you can send me your questions on 0907-224-5018, 0907-224-5018. Let's touch on the issue of tourism. Some civilized countries flourish through tourism. Countries like United Arab Emirates, City of Dubai, that is, Ethiopia, Kenya, Cape Verde. America and some Asian countries are urged to tourism. And I purposely mentioned Kenya, Ethiopia, Cape Verde, because they are all African countries. But in Nigeria, it's not so. The assertion so far has been that our festivals have not attracted the needed tourists. You know, you talked about the Festac 76. I knew we're about to get there. So Festac 76 held by the former head of state, Olusegun Obasanjo. Even though we don't know the economic value or prosperity we gain, there's some people's debating on that, which is debatable, of course. And a few carnivals like, the Calabar Carnival in Cross River State. The government of Cross River also, tell us they made some money. They did internally generated revenue that their state gets annually from the carnival. Basically, all this carnival being organized in Nigeria by some states, government has been more of fun fair. Financially reckless, financial recklessness, wastage. You see so much wastage. Without the government of the states, really telling Nigerians or telling us or telling the state what exactly that money has been put in use to. Compared to other parts of the country, other parts of the world, where, they have this tourism and they get a whole lot of funds and they use it for the people. Can you say our festivals have really, made sense? It's not more of wastage. All of the festivals that go on in this country, is more of wastage or is more of gain?
Okay. Thank you very much. You see, I wouldn't want us to condemn what we have so far. I want to agree with you that there are some inadequacies as far as the organization is concerned, then the money put into it, and some others. But, if we consider the fact that these things were dead before now, and that they are trying to raise it now, I think we should just applaud the effort in raising it. And I want to believe that as time went on, all of these things will be streamlined. The ones we are talking about, they did not just start in a day. And a lot of proper planning has been put into it. And again, the multinational corporations have joined them. And again, all of the, the European countries that often go around in the name of tourism, they are connected with those ones. So I want to believe that it is the planning. That is where we are getting it wrong. Secondly, the government, let me tell you my experience. I went to Ghana, and they were telling me that some people are living on top of water. And I was imagining, how are they living on top of water? Then they were telling us, no, they build their house on top of water. I said, the water is still on there. I said, yes. So I went there. To travel, I think it took us 1 hour to travel down there on water. When we got there, I realized that what they were talking about is just the Elijah kind of building in Lagos, which I was never sensitized to see. I've always been seeing it on picture. I said, is this what you have been telling me to come and watch, and I have to pay ACDs to get there? You get it? But we are not, Nigerians are not well mobilized. We are not well...
Sorry to butt in. Or is it the infrastructural decay? We have everything. Is it the infrastructural decay, or maybe the challenges we face in security that's not really taking our tourism to that level? Though Calabar Carnival, they're of course doing quite well. I applaud that. But in some other parts, we have so many. I will still come down to the Durbar Festival that just recently was done. So continue line of thought.
So hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so what we are saying is this. All of these tourist centers that we have, even Nigerians, we are not motivated, we are not mobilized.
Okay.
As historians, we were usually encouraged to go for excursion. But because of the financial implication, which again boils down on our parents, they cannot do it because of low income. And so eventually, people were not encouraged to go. Then thereafter, the issue of insecurity came in. But now that they are trying to build it, I think now we have seen it, that if we want to copy, I think we better copy well. Now that we want to copy European countries and want to copy other African
countries. Even Dubai.
Countries, so Dubai, you can see Dubai now.
Kenya.
So we can then try as much as possible to develop all of these places. Let me tell you that those places too need restructuring. There are infrastructural deficits in all of those areas. So you don't go there when you have been full security from human attack, from animal attack, and from even environmental degradations. So they needed to do all of these things. Then it will attract people from far and near. Now, 3 things are usually done. If you are able to develop your centers, your tourist centers, 1, it will put Nigeria on a global map of tourism. That was okay. There are a lot of places that you can go to in Nigeria that are of interest. That you can go there to relax. Then it will also bring money.
Okay.
It will also bring money. But for money to come, then there must be heavy investment. When you invest in investment, law, you don't start to gain immediately. I think you give yourself about 5 years before you start to gain.
Exactly.
But here, our politicians, because they know that they are going to spend at least maximum of 5 years, they also want to gain immediately. And so they invest, they cut away. They invest, they cut away. And so we go back to square one.
To square one.
And that is what is actually happening. But if you can get the government that invest, I think I want to believe that if we have sincere government that invest, that doesn't care whether his opponents got it next or not, just for it to continue to get it right. Those are some of the problems that we have.
Good. Let's also look at this. There's an adage which says, no one will place value on you until you place value on yourself. Do you think Africans and Nigerians are not sincere with themselves in advancing their cultural acceptance in other countries outside Nigeria? Because even here in Nigeria, a good example is Lagos. There are still a lot of Nigerians who look down in wearing our Nigerian attire, like our Ankara, even up to our food. Some Nigerians love to be seen eating foreign meals in public or social functions. You go to a restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and they ask for, chicken and pepper sauce instead of the amala. They even mock on others who display pride eating their own food and wearing African attires, our African attire. Sometimes it bush or being local if you portray your culture that's in that way. What is your opinion on this reaction? What's your opinion on this, and what's your reaction?
Of what do you call it? Human right. That you have right to do whatever you like. If you say you have somebody is doing whatever he likes at the expense of the society, and we think that one is human rights freedom, I think that's one. The second aspect of it is that nobody can correct the society except the government. Nobody can correct society except the government. That person that is they're talking about that has the likes for foreign materials. How are the foreign materials coming? It's not through government. That an individual cannot go there and bring anything in. It is through government. If government decides that, during the period of Buhari Agban regime, they said the government should use all vehicles that are assembled in Nigeria, if not manufactured. And no ministry did anything extra. It was that was used. So if they want to control it, they can still control it. When they said that, they are closing border for this, for closing border for that, Nigerians were shouting because they had not provided alternative. If government provides alternative, I think it's going to be good for us. Again, our system of education is the type that segregates the society into the rich and the poor. The rich want to show the poor that we are above you, and the poor that do not have the means that are taken to anything that is local. This is it. Again, if government itself want to do some things, want to do a function, the government itself will also order from abroad. Whereas there are things that are alternatives in the locality. They will not do it. So who else do you want to? This government is ordering anything for its own function. And of course, they are only telling the citizens that this is the way to go if you are the best.
Okay, good. Let me put this one here. There are instances where governors have wielded so much power and arbitrarily dethrone king and put someone in that is loyal to him. What's your reaction to that? We're talking culture here. Do you think these should be tampered with? Our traditions,
let me tell you,
our beliefs?
That is the impact of colonialism.
Okay.
The kings, the chiefs, were the owner of their communities. These people came and introduced another law that they are the ones to be controlling them, and they introduced indirect rule. You cannot govern your people except you take permission from us. And when they were going, they handed over this colonial constitution to us. But unfortunately for us, those who stepped into the shoes of the colonialists maintained that constitution until independence. And when independence came, they continued to just color it in the same way. Today, let me tell you, any chief in any local government, no matter if they are 20, the chairman of a local government is their boss. He can remove anybody. You are talking about governor. Governor is even superpower. The local government chairman can remove any chief. So these are the type of constitution that we needed to change. If we didn't change them, then next day now, look at it. Somebody, I don't want to say somebody from nowhere, we just win an election.
Okay.
And nobody they are just more or less like warrant chiefs that were created by colonial master at the other time, and they continue to lord over communities. People that are the traditional rulers that have been there for years, they no longer listen to them because the constitution has empowered them to either dethrone them or they are even one paying their salary. Is that not? Whereas they draw the money from the people of these chiefs, and they now pay the chief salary instead of the chief now paying them salary. They pay the chief salary. This is the system, that is what the structure that was introduced to us by the colonialists. And so that is why those who say that the colonialists have done the worst to us, they have their justification.
All right, as we're gradually
But
winding down.
If you have to come back now, then definitely we have to go back to the table and give these traditional rulers appropriate position in our democracy.
All right.
And that is when we can get it right. Look at what happened in Maduguri. The insurgents could not be quelled until when the civilians were brought to the picture. That is let you see the power of the community people and their chiefs.
All right, Lagos, we are still having a very fantastic, great conversation with our guest, Professor Ibrahim, talking on culture and tradition. And we are streaming live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM and also on Twitter at iImpact 1021 FM. We'll be right back. Don't touch it down. We are gradually winding down. Don't touch it down. Keep it locked. All right, Lagos, I hope you're enjoying the conversation with our guest, Professor Ibrahim, joining us all the way from Ilorin. We are gradually winding down and moving to the last path of the conversation. I'm having so much fun. I have a whole lot of questions on my plate to ask Professor Ibrahim, but hey, because of our time, we're just going to take a few more and talk about the Durbar Festival. So I'm just going to take off some of those questions and talk about the Durbar Festivals. Professor, let's talk.
Yes.
Tell us, what is the Durbar Festival all about?
Thank you very much. When we talk about Durbar, Durbar is synonymous to northern Nigeria. You see, in northern Nigeria, one of the cultural activities that is being performed there is Durbar. And when we talk about Durbar, it is a procession of horses that are gaily dressed and that are mounted by well-dressed individuals who tried as much as possible to exhibit their horsemanship, the mastery of horse riding, and to the admiration of the chief and the community members. And so this Durbar, as we talk about it, is nothing but has its origin in northern Nigeria.
Okay.
Of course, because because of its origin in Islam, and northern Nigeria being an Islamic state, they drew their inspiration from the Quran, the sources of Islam. In the sources of Islam, we were told that we were told the importance of horses, and that every community should try as much as possible to train their children in horse riding, wrestling, and racing. So in northern Nigeria, it has been part and parcel of the culture that are well established. So if you are talking about the northern elements, you cannot enjoy their culture outside of the Doba practices. So in Ilorin in particular, Ilorin was officially established in 1823, and Doba had been part of it since 1823.
Okay.
But
sorry to button, Professor. Let me make this even plain. I saw this. You sent me this, and I was so thrilled. I was like, "Goodness, I missed the Doba Festival. I did miss the Doba Festival. It happened last month, June 26th." Yes. Let me read this. Yes. I was at the Lori Doba, one of the most attended and largest assemblages of horse pageantry in West Africa. A heterogeneous city, this Asian city has its largest bores of tourism during the Doba. Discover the history, see the breathtaking colors associated with royalties, and witness the rhythmic beats of local musical instrument and beautifully decorated horses at the Ilorin Doba.
Yes.
And I saw the videos, I saw the pictures, I said, oh my God, I missed this. I thought it was July. I missed this already. Beautiful cultures that I thought Nigerians, the world need to see this. At this point, what was on your mind when you saw those beautiful colors, beautiful, instrument and everything, and the attire, the regalia, and the rhythmic pattern which this horse ride just, tore their way through the roads? How did you feel? I want you to tell us, because you are there. You attended the festival and everything that happened. Tell us.
Yes. You see, I was very happy when I saw the comment of a tourist like that, and several of them made that kind of comments. I became happy because, one, that all that we have planned, we were able to execute it, and our audience have appreciated us. Because Ilorin is a miniature of Nigeria and even beyond. We have among us, we have Arabs, we have Sudanese, we have Hausas, we have Fulanis, and we have Yorubas. All of these cultures have come together to become one. And what is that? Ilorin Emirate culture. And one of the major signs and major activities is the issue of this Doba. The Emir of Ilorin, Dr. Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, CFR, who is also the chairman of Kwara State Council of Chiefs and the chancellor of Bayero University, is an ambassador of peace. And what he wanted was that he wanted something introduced in such a way that will bring more integration among our people, and more integration among the people we live with, that is our neighbors, between Ilorin and neighbors and Nigeria at large. And in fact, it's like our children are looking to the other side of the world for cultural festival. Why don't we turn this Doba into a grand one that we showcase all our culture and that we attract all our children down home? That was his intention. But today, I'm glad that you have seen the comments of those that are not part of us, that have come to watch us. And that tells us that at least we are doing it well. And we are moving. We started in 2018. The last one we completed that was the 5th edition.
So far, sorry to button, sir. So far, has it been a success? And the objectives, have the objective been achieved so far? That's my question.
So far, we have seen that each of our objectives, we are already on them. It is not okay for us, but we saw that, yes, we are already attaining them, and we are moving to the next level. When we started, we did it among ourselves. The second edition, we invited some people from near. The third edition, we invited some people from far.
Okay.
The fourth edition, our people came from Morocco, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, America, and United Kingdom. But this one, we had Chinese who are a part of us. In addition to the ones I have mentioned, we can see that we are moving. And today, when we started, we didn't have the cooperation of the multinational corporations. But today, they flooded our program. Come and see their banners. Come and see drinks from different people.
Wow.
Then the airliners are coming. The people in the hospitality industry, all of them, they are there.
Massive.
The local people are making it. Come and see our governor riding horses.
Oh my God.
Right, the governor rode on horse that day, and several others, our senators, our reps, our chairman, all of them.
Okay,
they were with us.
what really stunned me when I watched all the events, the parades and everything, everybody came together as one. There was no fighting, there was no issues. Everyone just came together, so much peace. How can we how can we as a people leverage on such beautiful culture, the Durbar Festival? How can we leverage on this? Quickly.
Yes. I think, like we said, the government to assist.
Okay.
If they assist all of us in northern Nigeria on the issue of the Durbar, assist others too in the other areas, so then everybody will come together and there will be peace. Then this what do you call it? The traditional chiefs will have control over us, and eventually they will also have control over the traditional rulers, and there will be peace in Nigeria. This is what we want.
Yes.
This is what we want. Everybody was busy doing one thing or the other. No stealing, no fighting, no nothing. Everybody, we saw ourselves as one. Politicians are around, and everybody, they are in their different political camp, but they are all together. Where they are there, you remove all the garments of other differences. You come together as one, and that is what the government can just build, so that at least it can bring every segment together like that. Of course, what we want, we also come from there. We want money. We want economic prosperity. We want peace. Everything will come. And I look at the airliners, they were just flying, coming, and they were supporting us with tickets. The multinational corporation, they were supporting us with water, drink, and the rest of them. All of them, and then the food makers. All of them, they were there. Talk much of the locals who are selling pure water, selling things, the different brand or something. I think if the government can show seriousness, I want to especially thank the state government for being very supportive, and many individuals who are friends of Loni and illustrious sons and daughters of Loni who contributed massively. They contributed huge amount of money to execute such things. The transporters, all of them, they came around, and we had it. So if government can just look at it critically and try to see what we are doing and replicate it in other ends, I think there will be peace in Nigeria. Because if we have peace, every other thing will come.
Sorry. Thank you. You are an authority in this when it comes to culture and every other sector. But let's streamline this. Lastly, what is your final words on this conversation to Nigerians on culture and tradition? What can you say to Nigerians listening to you right now?
I want to appeal to every household, every community, every state, and Nigeria at large, that we should drive our individual, our community, our national development through our culture, and that is it.
Okay, wow. Lagos, this is the conversation on the Morning Impact Show. Woo, I had fun so much. I have been speaking with the Professor Ibrahim. When you have a professor, then you know it's a teacher and a student class. All right, Lagos. All right, Lagos. This has been a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful show. And yes, the distinguished professor of history in the person of Professor Jawandu Ibrahim Abdul Ganiyu, FSPSP. He is the former head of Department of History and International Studies from the University of Ilorin. He is a former director, Center for Ilorin Studies, University of Ilorin. He doubles as a secretary, Ilorin Emirate Grand Doba. And he is the first indigenous professor of history and international studies with specific reference to Ilorin Emirate studies. He has backed both local and international publications. I want to say a big thank you, sir, for coming on the conversation segment on the Morning Impact Show on iMpact 102.1 FM. Thank you, sir, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very grateful and delighted.
Okay. Have a very good day. I want to say have a very good day. And of course, I didn't ask, how is Lauren this morning? Or this morning. It's the morning. Hoping Lauren is looking very good.
Yeah, very, very good. Yes, thank you very much. I wish you the best.
All right, sir.
And our listeners as well.
Okay. All right.
So don't hesitate to call me if you have anything that is crucial to my...
Okay, I will.
That is an open ticket for you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much once again. Lagos. Oh, my goodness. Lagos, did you miss it? No, you didn't. You did not miss this conversation. Culture and traditions. I love it. I love it. My God, my God, my God. I was trying to just squeeze out more questions. I'm like, we should be proud of our culture and our traditions. Look at the Doba Festival. You need to go look at it. Look at it. The videos are everywhere. Very beautiful, very peaceful environment. Oh my God, ambience. No fighting. Everybody just came together under one umbrella called the Doba Festival. Nigeria is blessed. What a great nation. We have a great nation in our hands, Nigerians. We cannot afford to misuse it. We cannot afford to let it down. I am so excited this morning. Talking about my culture, talking about my tradition, and looking at the issues side by side. He talked about culture in difference with tradition. Culture is all encompassing. Did you get that? I ask again, did you get that? Culture is all encompassing than tradition. I like the Amala part, right? And hey, don't tell me when I eat my Amala, my fufu, you say, Happy, you're local. I want to be local because I'm a cultural person. Oh my goodness, I had so much fun today on the show, and I have been your host, Lagos. You know my name. If you don't know, my name is Affion Gayeni. You can call me Afi the Great, your radio goddess. Yeah, yes, I'm here. Not really alone. I have with me Paul and the beautiful Precious P Square. All right, guys, thank you. You know, every conversation on the Morning Impact Show is always worthy of note. And this one is double, triple worthy of note. Today, culture and tradition. We cannot forsake our culture. We can never forsake our tradition, especially those ones that promote us, that bring peace, unity, progress. And this is where I call it a wrap on the conversation segment. But remember, Morning Impact Show still continues, but this is where I call it a wrap. And I draw the curtains to the conversation segment on the Morning Impact Show. So I want to leave you with this word: advance your culture, market your culture. And always stay tuned to iMpact Radio 102.1 FM. If you missed out on the conversation, I'm so sorry, but hey, go to our YouTube channel on iMpact 102.1 FM on YouTube and also on Twitter at iMpact 1021 FM. You can see the excitement in my voice. Once again, I've been your host on the conversation segment, Afionge Yani. Call me Afi the Great. It's a great nation. We have a very great nation in our hands. Advance your culture, sell your culture, market your culture. Great nation.
As a people with one song, with one voice, we're a nation